What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of This Brother Talk. My name is Tony Crawford. Hey, please excuse me if I sweat a little bit. My air conditioner went out, so kind of hot, but got fans and stuff on, so it's kind of cooling off a little bit. And it's 100 and something degrees here in Oklahoma, the heat index. But, we're just going to get right into things. We're going to talk about a little NFL, NBA, with free agency, USA, and all that good stuff. So we're just gonna get right into it. And first thing is talking about Josh Allen getting paid. Josh Allen got $200 something million and $150 million guaranteed for the Buffalo Bills. Do I think Josh Allen is a good quarterback? Yes, I do. Do I think he's worth that kind of money? I don't think he's proven himself enough to warrant that kind of money. But, the quarterback position is one of the positions that's, really sought out for, and, all of that good stuff. So, I respect that he got his money, that he's getting paid. That opens the door for, quite a few others. I don't see him being, a comparison to Patrick Mahomes, but he's second up on him when it comes to per year, salary or whatever. It was a question being asked about the next person that I'm going to talk about. He asked some questions they asked him about, was he worried about getting his money because, Josh Allen was drafted after him. We talk about Baker Mayfield. Josh Allen got his money. The Bills have been a better team. Will he make a big difference? I ain't gonna say he's gonna make that kind of difference, but he will be a difference maker whenever it comes to them winning and losing football games. Shout out to Josh Allen for picking up that money. Hope he lives up to it. I hope this doesn't set the Buffalo Bills back, 100 years because they paid him all of this money. So, shout out to him. We'll see how this year goes. Now he's gotten paid. Now all the pressure is on him because they said that you are a franchise. You are a franchise quarterback. So now you got to go out and perform like you're a $200 million man. So, we'll see what happens with Josh Allen. And we're going to move right along. We're going to talk about this guy, Baker Mayfield. Is Baker Mayfield the quarterback for the Browns? And I say the quarterback for the Browns, I mean the franchise quarterback. To be honest with you, I think Baker Mayfield is a decent quarterback. He's a really decent quarterback. Do I think that he's a quarterback that I will want running my franchise? No. Because if you look at Baker Mayfield has had a lot of weapons at his disposal. And he has underperformed to me because if you give somebody else all those weapons that he's had, then you would expect for their numbers to be better. You expect for their team to be better, their offense to be better. And me, quite frankly, I just think Baker Mayfield is one of those guys who's a game manager. Simple as that. I think he's a game manager. I think that, if he manages games right to not lose, then the Browns will be a better team. If you put the ball in his hands and say, win me a football game, I think that's where you have a lot of problems and a lot of trouble whenever it comes to Baker Mayfield. They're in a division that they can win, but it will be hard to win. But I just feel like he's with that franchise where they say the Browns are going to be the Browns, and I think that's what it's going to be. He does a whole lot of talking, like he is like that guy. But is he the franchise quarterback for the Browns? I don't think so. The Browns may pay him because, they really hadn't had anything good in some years. So, this might be the next big thing to slice bread for them right now. To have a game manager like a Baker Mayfield that could possibly go out there and have some really, really, really good games. I'm not saying he's not going to go out and have real good games. I'm just saying he's not a guy that I could, trust and believe that would win football games for me on a night in and night out basis. I don't think that would happen. Charles Williams says, I think this will be Baker's breakout season. I got the Browns going to the Super Bowl. You said you got the Browns going to the Super Bowl. That's very interesting. Like, I know the Browns have been a pretty decent team, but them going to the Super Bowl, that's a far stretch because everything has to be in place, Charles, for them to go to the Super Bowl. Because, I mean, it goes to what I'm saying. Baker, everybody keeps getting like, what year are we on with Baker? We're on year 5 or something like that, 4 or 5. And like, I constantly hear that this is going to be his breakout season. This is going to be, so now you're saying this is going to be his breakout season. So, I mean, we'll see. Travis, I'm kind of like you. I'm with question marks on that because I'm not sure if Baker is going to be the guy that can get him to the Super Bowl. Okay, I'll go back to Charles, give you a chance. You said they got a great defense and playmakers and a running game, bro. Yes, but whenever it comes playoff time, and let's say for instance they stack that box on that running game, then you got to put the ball in Baker Mayfield's hand. And what's going to happen? Tell me what's going to happen. You're saying that he's going to have a breakout season, but we haven't seen that season yet. So my issue with him is can he do it? You're saying he's going to have a breakout season, but you can't rely all the time on that running game because sometimes they stack that box and that running game is not there. What's going to happen if the defense doesn't have the great games they have? Because they do have a great defense. And you have to depend on him to win a football game for you, or 2 or 3. What you going to do then? Well, what Natel said their quarterback is not a good decision maker. And that's my thing with him. He's not a good decision maker. Like, he tries to be this gunslinger, Brett Favre type, player, whatever, but quarterback. But no, he's not. He's not. Okay. This goes to what Natel just said. You said this will open up the playmakers. They got receivers and tight ends. But he doesn't make the right decisions because remember, it's other guys, it's other teams out there that are good defenses. What's going to make or break Baker is whenever the pressure is on him, whenever he got a blitz coming at him, that's when he makes bad decisions. When he has pressure up the middle, he makes bad decisions. So that's what I'm saying. You're saying he got all these weapons. He's been having the same weapons for 2 or 3 years now. So what's going to change? I mean, I just can't see that changing, Charles, like right away. If he does, I'll be one of the first ones to come out here and say, Baker Mayfield proved me wrong. He made me put my foot in my mouth. But I just don't think that and here we go. You said I blame the Browns coaching staff. They need to run the ball to open up the playing game. That's all they do is run the ball. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Let me see what the Browns rushing attack was last year. Hold on. Cleveland Browns rushing last season. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go to stats because Charles, you just said that. You said that they need to run the ball more to open up the passing game. Okay, I knew what you meant by the pass by that. Okay, so Nick Chubb had 1,067 yards. Kareem Hunt had 841. So, and then the other guy, the Ernest Johnson, if you combine his and Kareem Hunt, that's in their backfield. They had over 2,000 yards rushing. So, what do you mean that you blame it on the coaching staff? There's no way in the world you can blame it on the coaching staff when you got a rushing attack that gives you over 2,000 yards rushing. Nick Chubb himself had 1,067. So you can't say that you blame it on the coaching staff. They had the running game last year. It ain't nothing changed. The running game was there. It's the passing game. You got Jarvis Landry with only 840 yards. Like, he should be 1,000-yard receiver. Austin Hooper, 435. Rashad Higgins, 599. Of course, Odell was hurt, but even when he was there, I mean, he was frustrated with Baker because Baker couldn't get him the football. So I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this right here, because it's baffling to me that you blame it on the coaching staff whenever they got all the pieces in place. This is exactly what I said. They got all the pieces. They got a running game. They have a defense. They got the receivers. They have the weapons. They just don't have the quarterback that's going to make those weapons be what they're supposed to be. Yes, Natel, exactly. They look good on paper. Like, on paper, they look really good. But my only issue is whenever you look down there at quarterback and you see Baker Mayfield on that paper, that's the question mark to me, because if you have all that good talent, you have all those good receivers, you have all those good tight ends, you have a good defense, but you don't have a quarterback. Hold on. The backs need 40 or more rushes, and Baker don't need to pass the ball 30 times a game. All he needs is 50. So basically what you're telling me is exactly what I said. Is Baker the quarterback for the Browns? If he's only going to throw the ball 15 to 20 times a game, then he is not my franchise quarterback. You have really proven my point, because if he can't be the guy that I can say, okay, my running game is not there, because it's going to be games where it's like that. But you want a quarterback that calling a franchise that's going to only throw the ball 15, 20 times. No, it can't be that way. Then you got franchise running backs. You don't have a franchise quarterback. You can get anybody for that, Charles. You can get anybody to come in, a backup to throw the ball 15 to 20 times and just make the right decision to be a game manager. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's a game manager. He is not a great quarterback. He has to, and he's not even managing the games properly. It just, the offense has been built around the running game. All he got to do is make the right decision. It goes back to this right here. What Natel Bowie said. The QB is not a great decision maker. That's what it all boils down to. You're saying throw the ball 15 to 20 times per game. But that answers my question. Is he a franchise quarterback? No. Is he the quarterback for the Browns? No. Who wants a franchise quarterback throwing the ball 15, 20 times a game? Especially in this modern day football. In one drive, you could throw the ball 10, 12 times. So you want him to throw the ball 15 to 20 times for 4 quarters. There's no way in the world. There's no way. Like, Baker Mayfield is not, you said he's going to have a breakout season. So if he's going to have a breakout season, Charles, answer this question for me. How can he have a breakout season throwing the ball 15 to 20 times a game? How? It's not a breakout season. That's just being somebody who is managing games. Somebody who the organization really doesn't trust. So how y'all rate Baker out of the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks? He's not top 10. I'll tell you that. He's not top 10. He's not. So I'll put it to you that way. And if you're not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, then a lot of times your team is not going to be successful. He's not a top 10 quarterback, not in my opinion. You say he's top 15? If he's top 15, then I'll give you 15. So he's the middle of the pack, which means that it's a lot of guys that's in front of him that's better than him, which he's not a franchise quarterback, in my opinion. And he might be lower than that. I just need to go back and look at it. That's a good question. That's a good question. But you can't be, Charles, in my opinion, you cannot be in the middle of the pack and expect for your team to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. It's no way in the world. You can't have it. You can't have it that way. You can't have a mediocre quarterback and say, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. That quarterback has to be able to win games, and that's what you're not seeing. But we'll see. So Whenever the season starts and Baker throwing the ball 15, 20 times, if that's what you see, it's not going to happen because in this era, in this generation, throwing the ball 15, 20 times is for a backup where a starter got hurt. So we're going to manage the game and we're going to use our running game. Yes, use your running game, but to run Nick Chubb them in the dirt because you got a quarterback that can't make the right decisions that you don't trust, why do that? I understand Nick Chubb won his 1,000 yards. Yes, Travis. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I didn't want to say it, but, number 1 pick to 15. If he's number 15, that is a bust. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And why am I going to blame the coaching staff? Because he doesn't know how to make good decisions. He didn't make good decisions in Oklahoma. So how in the world can you say that it's blaming on the coaching staff? Because they put him in the right situations. So you can't blame the coaching staff because he don't make the right decisions. They call the plays. They put him out there, and if he doesn't make the right decisions, he don't make the right decisions. When I seen plenty of quarterbacks be up under pressure, Patrick Mahomes be up under pressure and make the right decision. I done seen a lot of quarterbacks do that. Tom Brady do that all the time. That's when you talk about elite quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, elite quarterback. Whenever the marbles on the table, he's under pressure. He makes the right decision. Baker Mayfield doesn't do that. He doesn't do it. Plain and simple. So I can't blame the coaching staff for a guy not making the right decisions. I just can't do that. And I don't see how you can either. But Brett Favre was a bad decision maker, but made the Hall of Fame in his game simple to me. Hey, but Brett Favre was a gunslinger. Yeah, he made some bad decisions because he was trying to force the ball because he was just doing great things at certain times. But don't put Brett Favre and Baker Mayfield in the same conversation, man. Don't put them in the same sentence. Well, I hope Jameis has a better season this year. I think Jameis Winston. I wasn't going to talk about him this week. I was going to talk about him next week. But since you brought him up, I think Jameis will have a better because he's going to have better play calling around him. Whenever he played for Bruce Arians, if anybody look at his track record, he's an all or nothing guy. That's why he had a whole lot of interceptions and stuff. But he playing with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton knows how to simplify the game to make it where you have your dump downs. Bruce Arians, if you look at it, he wants to air it out. When Tom Brady first started there, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were struggling at first because that's what Arians wanted. And Tom Brady went in, he had to change some things up. So, Charles said, Brett Favre, yeah, I ain't want to go there. He said, I blame ownership because they should be contenders, but poor quarterback play. Yes, because, and I'll just be honest with you. They're going to give Baker Mayfield time after time after time simply because of his skin color. That is plain and simple with that. Because if it was anybody else, if it was my skin color, my ass would have been on the bench by now. I wouldn't be able to go in front of the media and talk about, oh, I'm just going out here trying to win football games. I'm worrying about game 1, game 2, game 3, week 3, week 4, and all that good stuff. No, I would have been talking about, I'm going to just hold the clipboard for this next guy. Baker Mayfield they should have been did it. Yeah, but we can talk about Baker all day. We can debate about Baker. Baker is going to be Baker. He was the same player in Oklahoma that he is now. And Oklahoma whenever he played against stiffer competition and had to make the right decisions, he didn't make the right decisions. Well, he played against NFL caliber players. Now he's doing the exact same thing. It's no excuses. That's not just going to change all of a sudden and say, oh, Baker's going to have a breakout season. Oh, how you going to have a breakout season? You throw the ball 15 or 20 times. If that's the case, then you might as well trade Landry. You might as well trade the tight ends. You might as well trade Odell, because if he only throwing the ball 15 to 20 times, they not gonna give you anything. What's that? Gonna give you 125 yards per game? That's not nothing. Then that's not nothing. But I'm not. I can't talk about Baker all day. So we're gonna get off Baker. We're gonna move right along. All right. So we're gonna talk about my Eagles. I might talk about the Eagles every week, and I've been seeing some stories. I do everything Eagles. I follow everything Eagles and all that good stuff. It's questions out there that they haven't named a starter yet between Joe Flacco and Jalen Hurts. And this goes back to what I've been saying all of last season and all that good stuff. I don't think the Eagles are sold on Jalen Hurts. And I've never been sold on him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think that, he could be a great backup to somebody. I think that he could even be a good quarterback on a bad team. And my thing with this is that unfortunately it kind of worked out in our favor. Like I think that we have screwed up because we were sold on a guy that came in playing to play for a guy within Carson Wentz that just had a horrible season. Just had a horrible season. So anything anybody did on top of what Carson Wentz did looked great. But when you go back and look at everything, it was the exact same. The same points scored, 21 points a game. Same turnovers, all of that good stuff. So my thing is, I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts whenever it comes to stuff, because whenever everybody talking about he's mobile, he adds an extra dimension to stuff, but his decision making is not great either. And he can't make all these throws. Whenever I think about mobile quarterbacks, I think about a Michael Vick. I think about somebody like Russell Wilson, somebody who can create some stuff and still, pass the football and, still do all these other things. I don't see that in Jalen Hurts. I watched him at Alabama because I'm a big college football person. And I used to like to watch Alabama simply because Alabama was a well-oiled machine. I mean, it was like it was the best thing in college to look at that looked like, players in the NFL and all that good stuff. And when he was at Alabama, he lost his job to Tua. Whenever he was at Oklahoma, and everybody know how the Big 12 is. LJ, you said he lost one game at Bama. No, he did not win all those games at Bama. Alabama, Nick Saban is going to win football games regardless who is back there at quarterback. If they felt so trustworthy in the guy, why did they bring Tua in to start over him? Because the offense was stagnant, wasn't making the right decisions. They were just stale. And then you take the Eagles. Yeah, we won that one game against the Saints. They ain't have no film on them. And as soon as they got some film, what happened? Turnovers. Won't win in games. None of that stuff. But then if hold up now. Don't say that, LJ. Because the year before, Carson had just as, if not more, injuries. And he made it to the playoffs. So I don't want to hear that. So I don't want to hear injuries. Injuries are part of the game. I don't want to hear that. And so my thing is with him, if they're considering starting Joe Flacco, and we're almost to the start of the season, we don't have nothing but a few more weeks, and they haven't decided who the starting quarterback is, that says a lot to me about how they feel about Jalen Hurts. And there's been reports out that, they were going to trade for Deshaun Watson. If that's the case, then they really not sold on Hurts. I wouldn't be. And LJ, you keep talking about give my man a chance, give my man a chance. And Chris, I'm gonna talk about the Eagles all the time. So that's one thing you ain't got to worry about, bro. I'm gonna talk about the Eagles all the time. And Charles, thank you. Tell LJ that. That's LJ. You said we'll talk after the first couple of games. It takes more than a couple of games, LJ. If you're not winning the division and trying to make a playoff push, what's the purpose of having him? That's my question. So if you're satisfied with just winning a couple of games and not winning the division and not making the playoffs, then what's the purpose of having him? Then he's just like Baker Mayfield, middle of the pack, lower 15. He's not a great quarterback, plain and simple. If he come out and they start him and he proved me wrong, guess what, LJ? I'll go on social media every Sunday and I'll give him praise. I'll give him praise. Listen, I haven't seen enough NFL I've seen enough college footage. And a little bit, it's the same thing. Okay. I'll be objective. But the Eagles are not sold on him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The Eagles not sold on him because they haven't made him the starter. If he's not the starter already, what does that tell you? They're not sold on him. Because it should have been, oh, this is our starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts starting quarterback week 1. Plain and simple. It's that simple. They haven't said anything close to that. So we'll see what happens. I got a feeling we're going to make a trade and get us a franchise quarterback, and that's going to be the end of the story. So, LJ, you keep having high hopes, all right? All right, so we're going to get to our quick takes, and so we're going to talk about a couple of things real quick, and it's a lot of this right here hadn't been talked about a lot. The U.S. women's 7 straight gold medals. A lot of people do not talk about this right here. We always talk about the men, and we never talk about the women. But this is very impressive. And this quick talk, it's hard to be quick on this right here. But we have some women that have won 5 gold medals. The Sue Birds and Tarasis and all of them have, won like 5 gold medals, and we don't talk about them. We talk about the men all the time, but this has just been total dominance by the women. This has just been total dominance by the women. The women have went over there and they have made USA basketball look great. They go over there, they take care of their business, they win in great fashion, and we don't talk about them. Like, we got to give these women their credit. Like 7 straight gold medals in the Olympics. That is freaking impressive. And they're going over there handling their business and they're doing it the right way. You don't hear anything about, oh, well, are the women going, win it this year? No, you hear about these women going over there, taking care of business and coming back with gold. That's 7 straight. It's nothing that the men feet can do about it. Yeah, you got the Carmelos and the KDs and, all of that good stuff that, that's been great for USA basketball, LeBron James. But let's give these women some credit. Like these Sue Bird, Tarasi, what is that girl name? I got a brain freeze right now. Brittany Griner, all of them, she leading the way. Let's just give these women their credit. They go over there and they do it the right way. They win basketball games and they win gold medals. And that is freaking impressive to go and get 7 straight gold medals. Like, it used to be that way for the men, but now it's like that for the women. The men used to be, oh, well, you're going over there. Who gonna be playing for the silver medal and the bronze and all that good stuff? Who taking second and third? That's what we're competing for, because we already know the USA is gonna have the gold. But this is what's happening to women. Let's talk about them for a little bit. Let's talk about how people should be these other players should be trying to take pictures of them, because this right here is legendary. It is freaking legendary to see these women go over there and win 7 straight gold. Yeah, I called her name out, but it was a brain freeze for a second, Aunt Janet. But yeah, LJ, what you say? Every woman in the WNBA dominates the overseas comp. That's why when they play overseas, the whole team there run. Yeah, I agree with you. But, that just goes to show how dominant the women are in the United States. Plain and simple. Like, we just have to start giving credit when credit is due. I'm on it all the time about watching women's basketball I'm just a sports fan, so I watch women's basketball. Yeah, they times come on a little early sometimes, and I'll watch it. If I ain't doing nothing, or even if I'm busy, sometimes I could be cooking or whatever. I'll cut the TV on so I can watch the games. It's just because I like watching basketball. So I mean, some of y'all should start watching some of these women games. The more we watch them, the more we buy that paraphernalia, the more their salaries goes up. LJ, yeah, let's pay them hungry. But if we help them out, we'll be good. All right. So shout out to the women. All right, then we're gonna talk about some other women. The USA women's volleyball team, they took the gold. I watched two females last night. I can't remember their names. I should have wrote them down, but they basically said this was going to be their last game with the USA volleyball team because they won gold. They had been the long standing members of the USA volleyball team, and I watched them, and this team was wearing people out. Like I felt like they were getting bored sometimes, and would let the other team score a couple times just to make the game seem like it was harder than what it was. So I mean, shout out to the U.S. volleyball women for taking home the gold. That was really impressive to see them do that. All right, and so I'm not gonna call out everybody's name, but congrats to all the newly inducted Football Hall of Fame. The Jimmy Johnsons, the Peyton Mannings, the Calvin Johnsons, and and those guys. Shout out to them for going in being inducted to the Football Hall of Fame. It was good to see everybody be able to come together after COVID and everything and induct the guys from last year and this year at the same time. So that was real impressive to see that. Looking forward to the next class because from my understanding, I haven't read up on everything yet, but they supposed to have some wide receivers and stuff that's supposed to go in. I'll read up on that later. But congrats to all the newly inducted Hall of Famers in Canton, Ohio. All right, so those are my quick talks. Talk about that. Matter of fact, I got one more. I got two more. All right, then Lamar Jackson, he has COVID for a second time, and they asked him a question about was he going to get the vaccine. Me personally, that should be a easy answer to that question because one, you don't want to play with your life. Two, you don't know what's going to happen. So, and this is the way I put it right here. A lot of people are real big, and I'm big on it's your decision, but this is the way I look at it right here. If we get a headache, we go take Tylenol, aspirin, Advil, BCs, Goody powders. We don't know everything that's in it, but we'll take it because it's supposed to relieve that. We've seen that this vaccine helps out with, it's no different than us having to have vaccines when we're younger and all that good stuff. But, just to be out, if I was him, I would definitely take it. And just because, I mean, he may be asymptomatic to it, but it's the second time he's had it. And I didn't want to play with my life. I done seen, too many instances where, people get sick, get in the hospital, get on ventilators and all that good stuff and don't make it out. There's been a whole lot of stuff going on, like I've been seeing on the news here in Oklahoma. So, but let's wish Lamar Jackson a speedy recovery. Hope he comes back and everything works out for him and he doesn't get COVID again because I don't think it's nothing to play with. I hope that he gets well. All right, my last quick talk is Deshaun Watson returned to practice after a 5-day takeoff. He had been at training camp but hadn't been participating because he didn't want to get fined $50,000 a day. He's back at practice. They don't get a status of everything or what's going on and all that good stuff. He's still up under, all these allegations of women saying that he sexually assaulted them and all that good stuff. But, I hope that this all works out for Deshaun Watson and whatever happens with him in Houston, I think that it should be settled between him and ownership and not ownership going out, doing these type of things, right? Because I really think this is a shakedown in my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I just feel like this is a shakedown. I think it's affected him, as far as going forward playing football. If he asked for a trade, I mean, you granted J.J. Watt his trade. Why couldn't you grant him his trade? So, and I understand a lot of these guys are on contract and all that good stuff. But, I mean, if you do it for one, I mean, What's the big deal about doing it for the other? You didn't, and then you traded everybody else away. You traded the weapons away. All that good stuff. But he's back at practice. I'm happy to see him back and all that good stuff. So, but those are all my quick talks for today, and we're gonna move right along. We're gonna get a little NBA basketball. Talk about the Bulls. The Chicago Bulls made some really interesting moves. They're kind of guard heavy, but they made some really moves in free agency, and I don't know if they're done. But the thing about it is they they already had like the Zach LaVines and all that good stuff, and then they picked up the ball boy. What's his name? Mello, not Mello. Not LeVar. I see. I'm having all these brain freezes or whatever. The Bulls free agents. So they picked up Lonzo Ball. They got Lonzo's gone there, and they just really done a whole lot. They got they also got DeRozan too, which I feel like DeRozan is somebody like I wouldn't have him. Charles Winston. I'm a Bulls fan, bro. With that roster they got, yeah, they got it, and I appreciate that, y'all. I had a brain freeze, but I pulled it up already. But the Bulls they made some really good moves, and I think somebody like a DeRozan going to play for San Antonio for the years that he played for them. I think this would be good for the Bulls with him because I don't know if I would start him. I think he would be a guy that I could bring off the bench because, playing in San Antonio, yeah, you may have started some games, but Pop always, did all this load managing and game managing and all that good stuff. So I think he's kind of built for that now, and it will take a whole lot of pressure off him and all that good stuff. Do I think that they can contend with the Nets? I'm not gonna say that. I think they need to add a few more pieces because the Nets are healthy, and with everybody they brought back and all that good stuff, I think it will be hard to beat the Nets still. Can they compete with the Milwaukee Bucks? Possibly. It's possibly they could because they have the guard play that they need and all that good stuff. I think that they will be one of the top teams in the East if they stay healthy. And it will be interesting to see because the Bulls haven't been great in a while, haven't been a good team in a while. And, and I feel like they're going to have to get out and run. And, and I think Billy Donovan being the coach might be the right person to run that because, he can coach a fast-paced offense or whatever. I think the most important thing is going to be defensively with them, and it's crazy to sound the ball kid, Lonzo, he picked up his defense, a lot over the last couple of years because I thought he was kind of suspect on defense at UCLA in the last couple of years. And Charles, you say you think they're going to be, a 5 to 8 seed. I don't know. I mean, I still got like the Nets and Milwaukee, and then the Knicks and the Hawks were 4 and 5, and I think that they have improved tremendously over those two teams, in my opinion. So, I mean, I could put them at a 4 seed or something like that. I don't think they're gonna drop lower than 5. And if they are 5, it will probably be like a toss up between them and another team, and say the other team owns the tiebreak, and so therefore they both got the same record, and the tiebreaker was given to the other team because they won the tiebreaker, and they become the 5th seed. I just feel like the moves that they made is better for their organization, and I don't think they're done because free agency is still not over. It's a lot of trade. Well, Then whenever it's time to go, you still got trade deadlines and all that good stuff. So, I think they'll make some more moves before it's all said and done. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Bulls be, a pretty decent team. I like parity in the NBA. I don't want to see one or two teams just be, okay, this is who gonna play at the end of the season. No, I want to see some parity where we can watch good games and not have to watch the same teams all the time on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then again on Saturday. So I just don't want to. I don't want to see all that. I want to see some good games. I should be able to turn the TV on and watch a good game all the time. And I think that we're gonna have, a great amount of parity because. We had, and then like you can't forget about teams like the Charlotte Hornets who have made some moves and could be possibly be a team that could be fighting for one of those middle of the pack because you just don't know what's going to happen. And with the team that they have and the roster they're putting together, it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen with the Hornets also too. So I don't want to discredit anybody, but I did like the moves that the Bulls made. All right. And then we're gonna move right along. We're gonna talk about a lot of y'all team, the Lakers. The Lakers made a lot of moves. And LeBron had a lot to say about a lot of things. First move they made, they traded for Russell Westbrook, and they got him from Washington. And then they got Dwight Howard, and then they got Carmelo. And all that good stuff. And a lot of people were giving the Lakers a hard time. And my issue with the Lakers is this right here. Yes, you made some moves. Everybody is quote unquote happy that the Lakers did this and the Lakers did that. My nephew even hit me up talking about the Lakers going to win the championship. He's a big Carmelo fan. And Carmelo, he was gonna bet me any amount of money that Carmelo's gonna win a championship this year. But what he failed to realize is this right here. We're talking about now. If you would have told me this 5 years ago that the Lakers had LeBron, Russ, Carmelo, Dwight Howard, like that, then I would be like leery and be like, that's going to be a hard team to not win, to beat and keep them from winning the championship. And in my opinion, do I think the Lakers going to win some games? Yes, simply because of talent alone. But the biggest thing that I have with the Lakers is their age. Whenever, it was said to me, and I was talking to some friends, I was like, the Lakers are just old. And now a lot of people are saying they're old. And like if you look at their age, and I have it in my phone with their ages and stuff, and it's like, why is LeBron getting upset because people are asking questions about their age? Yes, age does play a big part in everything. And like you got Melo, he's 37. LeBron is 36. Gasol is 36. They picked up Trevor Ariza, 36. Dwight Howard, 35. Wayne Ellington, 33. Bazemore, 32. Russ, 32. AD, 22. Nunn, 26. Monk, 23. And THC is 20. This is the way I look at it. On paper, those names look good. Age, they're older. The other issue that I have with this team right here is if anybody knows that LeBron James is a ball-dominant guy. He likes to control the basketball game. But here's the issue with this right here. Where's the spacing? Where's the shooting? Anybody knows that if LeBron is playing, he needs shooters. And I don't mean streaky shooters. I don't mean people who can knock them down every now and again. I mean people who are just pure shooters, the Kyle Korvers and the JJ Reddick. He'd been better off they trying to go and get like a JJ Reddick, somebody who could just, spot up and shoot, that doesn't need the basketball, and they could just play off, how LeBron plays and how Russ plays. Russ's biggest issue, he's not a three-point shooter. Like that's what it's been. That's one reason why it didn't work out in Houston, because Houston liked to shoot threes and he had an in-between game. So, and then you got Russ, who is ball dominant. That's another reason why he left Houston, is because he wants the ball in his hand. And then, everybody talking about Melo. What people fail to realize about Carmelo Anthony is this right here. Yes, I was happy Carmelo got another chance to come to the NBA and play some good basketball. But what people fail to realize is this right here. With Melo fit Portland well. Not because Melo can just shoot the ball or whatever, anything like that. No. Portland needed scoring off the bench, and Melo provided that. They didn't have anything coming off the bench whenever they picked him up initially. So all he had to do was just come off the bench and score. And he wasn't no guy that just sat in the corner waiting for the ball. No, they actually threw the ball to him and let him operate and let him, back people down, play one-on-one. I don't know if that's going to happen with the Lakers. And, on paper, yeah, like you say this and say that, but like Trevor Ariza is not the guy from the Lakers and the Washington Wizards from, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's not that same guy that could just go and defend anybody, has full of energy and all that good stuff. Malik Monk is not a great shooter. Wayne Ellington ain't shot the ball great since he left North Carolina. So, and Bazemore is not like this knockdown shooter. So where is the shooting going to come from? Because LeBron needs spacing. If it's clogged up, it's not going to work in his favor. If anybody knows that, LeBron James fans should know that he needs spacing. If he doesn't have spacing, then that is going to derail the Lakers and what they have going on. If he can't play his best back. Now, if they decide they're just going to get out and run and just try to, outrun people and be more athletic, then yes, you might win some games, but then they're going to tire out. Because, let's just keep it real. We've already seen that Father Time is already starting to kick in on LeBron, with the little nagging injuries and, tiring out. Like, let's just be real about it. Carmelo, Father Time has been getting him. He just he changed his game a whole lot. He went to Portland where they needed him. I think it's going to be different whenever he has to be battle tested, with a team that is competing for a championship. Then you got Gasol, who I don't think he was good for the Lakers last year. Marc Gasol, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of load management. But if it's a whole lot of load management, TC, what is going to happen? But here's the thing. This is what people fail to realize. The load management, that's about to come to an end. They can do all the load management they want. Then you got Trevor Ariza, who is, he's not youthful like he used to be. You got Dwight Howard. Yes, he's playing better. He was better for the Lakers because he's more athletic, but he's 35. He's not going to give you much. And then you have Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is soft as tissue. We don't know if his body is going to hold up for a whole season. We're about to play 82 games, and they're going to be traveling. See, a lot of people got false hope with Anthony Davis whenever he was in the bubble and he played all of those games. Yeah, the bubble was they were getting on a bus. They were driving 5 minutes to their resort, 5 minutes to the arena. Everything was right there with you, so you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to worry about getting on a plane and rest being messed up and going to another city, going somewhere else. So I don't know if his body's going to hold up because he's injury prone. We don't know if he's going to hold out. And if everything is on LeBron, because first of all, these guys are going to have to play together. It's going to take some time to get some continuity. And what I fear, and this is what I fear it's going to be because Russ is different. He wants that ball. He handles that ball. And LeBron likes to handle the ball. So where does that leave Anthony Davis? I think he'll be a Chris Bosh from Miami, like somebody sitting around waiting for the ball because he's not, a guard or anything that handles the ball. So that's going to be an issue whenever it comes to that. So, you know, I think they made some tremendous moves. A lot of people are happy about the moves, and a lot of people are saying that they're going to win a championship, which I can't give them a championship simply because I don't know how the older bodies are going to hold up. And you can take care of your body all you want, which I mean, I think LeBron has done a phenomenal job. But when Father Time start kicking in, that's what it is. And we've seen it for the last couple of years that, he's been getting these nagging injuries. And and my thing is his game hasn't changed enough, in my personal opinion. I feel like he should have been playing with somebody that got him off the ball so he could play a little bit longer. And I mean, we'll see. I'm just not big on, like everybody else is saying, that the Lakers are the favorite to come out the West because they got LeBron, Russ, Carmelo, and AD. Yes, I agree. They got those names, but like, is it going to gel together properly? Like, and then, I don't want to hear if they start playing bad and LeBron need more help. No, you got all the help that you need and you want it. It's just you don't have the shooting, and I think that's going to be age and shooting. I think is going to be the biggest struggle for the Lakers. Like that, and that's just me. I could be wrong. They might come out and shoot the lights out, but I just don't see where the shooting is going to come from, and that they're going to be, that great of a team. Will they win some games? Yes, they would definitely win some games. Will they be one of the top teams in the West? Yes, I think they will if they stay healthy. But, that's yet to be seen. We'll see what happens with all of that. And so we're going to move along, and we're going to talk about, KD leads Team USA to gold. I talked about this, and I said this a couple weeks ago. I said that KD will have to be better, and that Team USA will have to play some defense. And all of that stuff happened. They played better defense. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well in certain stretches. Like each game, like the first half is kind of, they almost like didn't play well and then come out in the third quarter and blow people out or whatever, and kept games reasonable. A lot of people were upset because they only won by a couple points or whatever and all that good stuff. But my thing is, a win is a win. That France team was a really good team. And our team, and still in my personal opinion, was not put together well. All the pieces that we had were not put together well to gel together or none of that stuff. So I don't think that this team was put together. But I have to get shout out to KD because in gold medal games, he has just been phenomenal. The last 3 gold medal games that he played in, 30, 30, and 29. It was just, impressive to see. I was happy to see him put Team USA on his back because I've seen a lot of people, some friends of mine, a guy named Vince, he dogged KD talking about we need leadership and need all that stuff. I said that if none of this stuff happens, then we wouldn't win. Greg Popovich did some changing. KD did some stuff, and the players around him, like the Damian Lillards, they didn't play well. They didn't. And we were very undersized. Like, if you watched it, they were throwing the ball down to Rudy Gobert. Like, Rudy Gobert. Rudy freaking Gobert. But, KD was a problem. And at first I was kind of hesitant about him playing with USA over something because he was coming from off that Achilles injury. But I think that might be the best thing that could have possibly happened to him because now he has some more games up on him. He's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, and I think that's going to be a problem for anybody in the NBA coming up this upcoming season because he is going to be that much better, in my personal opinion. So shout out to Team USA. A lot of people doubted them. I just said that I didn't feel like the team was put together well, and if they didn't do certain things, then they weren't going to win. and a lot of that stuff was yet to be seen. And then the other thing too was it was preliminary games and all that good stuff. So they got the monkey off their back. And shout out to him, KD, way to ball out, way to put Team USA on your back. A lot of people don't want to give KD his due, but it's time for us to start doing it. The guy's a great basketball player, regardless of how you feel, how he got his rings, all that good stuff. Great basketball player, great guy. So we need to start giving KD his due and his due diligence. Again, that's his third gold medal. He leads USA basketball in scoring, which that's very impressive. To pass the greats. And a lot of these guys now they play a little bit more now than some of the older guys. Some of these other guys like LeBron took off this year. KD played. Carmelo took off, and he normally he's normally the ambassador for Team USA. They call it the USA Mellow or whatever. So he's a different animal whenever it comes to that. But it was just impressive to watch him play, to watch the team, and it was almost, it was too easy for him to score that 29, and he possibly could have scored more, but it just, I think, asserting himself too much would have took a lot out of him. He was trying to let his teammates and stuff get involved, which I don't think they did a good job of, finishing plays and all that good stuff, because whenever a man goes out and do what KD does and open up the floor for everybody else, it should have been easy for him. But, they didn't have a great Olympics, but hey, they come out with the gold, so that's the most important thing. So, and that is my final topic for today. And my final word is be good or be good at it. But on a serious note, some of us, and I know some of you have kids and y'all have, nieces and nephews that, you feel like should play sports or want to play sports, and you want them to play sports, or, I feel like we need to stop trying to pressure our kids to play sports and stuff like that. I used to tell family members, I used to tell my sons and stuff like that, you can be great in other things besides sports. You could be, just because I play sports, and your uncle plays sports, and family member plays sports, don't mean that you got to play sports. You can be great in the classroom, and I think that's what we really need to start emphasizing with our kids. And then we also need to start telling them it's other options besides college, because we especially us in the Black community, it's always go to school, get your education, and this, that, and the third. And then if we go to school, half of the time our parents couldn't afford to send us to school, so we had to get student loans. But if you look at it, it's a lot of trades and stuff out there that you can get into, and you can have your own businesses making good money and not be in the debt that you would be in whenever you're going to school and getting all these student loans. So I encourage a lot of you just to start having, talks with your kids and, nieces, nephews, family members, cousins, and let them know it's a lot of trades and stuff that you can get in that it doesn't take a whole lot of money to get into. And so once you get into it, you start getting paid right away. So would you rather go to school for 4 years and come out with $150,000 in debt, or go to a trade school, have your own business, and have $15,000 in debt? You had that paid off within a year or so, versus having to pay $100,000 over the course of time. So you just got to weigh your options and quit trying to emphasize sports. Yeah, sports is good. It's another alternative to a lot of things. Like, sports kept me out of trouble. I'll be honest with you. I love sports. It kept me out of trouble. So I was playing sports, so I couldn't get into anything else. But I also had good grades, so I always had something to fall back on. So start encouraging. And my mama, she never encouraged me just to play sports. She was always on me about making sure that I knew how to do this, I knew how to do that, my grades were good and all that good stuff. And I got a scholarship because I knew that Carol and Sue couldn't afford to send me to school. So I wanted to do something to help out with that, and that scholarship helped me get what I needed to get. But if I knew some of the stuff that I knew now, yeah, trade school might have been good. Like, to have your own business, because people don't realize this. You could be a plumber and make close to $100,000 a year and have your own business. You could be a carpenter and make $100,000 a year and have your own business. Houses get built all the time. Plumbing, all that good stuff. Electricians get paid good money. You get a trade, you learn that stuff, you got your own business, boom, 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 you good to go. You work for yourself, and eventually you grow it, and then you start having people work for you, and you just, tell people what to do and call it a day. So I think we should start encouraging our kids to do other things besides sports. Now, if they come to you, I had a friend tell me his daughter came to him and said she wanted to play basketball, so he was gonna, do whatever he had to do to make sure that she got the workouts in. As long as she said that that's what she wanted to do, he was gonna be there for her. And she came to him and said it. And that was the most important thing to him, that she came to him. It wasn't like he was trying to pressure her to do it or anything like that. So that says a lot. Now, if they come to you and that's what they want to do, then you work with them. But don't try to force it on them. Like, give them other alternatives. Let kids see that you can be great in other things besides sports. Sports don't always make you great. Like, yeah, you got a lot of superstars and stuff that, play basketball. Everybody look up to them. But it's a lot of people that get looked up to that doesn't play basketball, that doesn't play football, that doesn't play baseball, all that good stuff. But I will tell you this. If your kids want to play baseball, push them, because baseball is where all the money is. Hey, anybody who checked me out tonight, hey, appreciate y'all checking it out. I'll be back next Monday, same time, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. And I have another host of, topics and stuff to talk about. Until then, y'all have a good night and good rest of your week.